I'm Ashley Dvorkin with Fox411.com movie reviewer Justin Craig. We have a highly anticipated, long-awaited, action-packed, gritty franchise continuation to discuss today. Yes, a lovely, lovely day as it's time to talk Mad Max Fury Road. Justin, let's start with where the story picks up.
Well, it's actually more of a reboot of the original Mad Max film from 1979 with starring Mel Gibson, so it's not actually really picking up anywhere, although it does allude to the fact that it might actually take place around the time right after The Road Warrior, which is the second Mad Max film, although it's a complete reimagining of the whole Mad Max universe with Tom Hardy playing Mad Max instead of Mel Gibson. So it's a brand new story, all new characters, and it is, excuse the hyperbole, one of the most insane action movies I have ever seen.
Yes.
Ever.
You can tell they're setting it up for that. So, okay, so we talked about Tom Hardy a bit, talk about the rest of the cast and how this all plays out. Some
okay, even though it's called Mad Max, it's not really Max's story at all. Charlize Theron is really the central character here. This is her story, and Max is along for the ride. And Charlize Theron plays Furiosa. What a great name that is. And she is part of this gang of this, like, elaborate biker gang that live in these cliffs and like the Skull Cliff. It's totally cool, totally crazy. And she steals these women, this group of women, these wives to the kingpin of this gang, these women are used only for breeding. So they're like slaves. And she takes them and kidnaps them and runs away, and then that just sets off this whole pursuit. This whole movie from beginning to end is one long car chase. And Mad Max is a prisoner of this part of this gang, so he's kind of like along for the ride, just chained up on this caravan trying to chase after Charlize Theron. But then, of course, he breaks free and he helps her. And it becomes this kind of story about how in this gritty, male-dominated world, how this group of women break free and are going to kind of reverse the roles on everybody else. And it's actually really smart and powerful once the whole film wraps up and you see what director George Miller is actually really doing here.
Right, and it looks so exciting throughout, and also visually talk about it, because between the intricacies, the costumes and the makeup, and like you said, it all takes place on the road here. So talk about how it looks and how big it is and how different.
It is so visually stimulating. I haven't seen a movie that looks this cool in so long. I mean, there's a lot of special effects in here, but a lot of practical effects too. The cars and the crashing into each other. It's like an old 1970s car chase film where everything just pile-ups and all that. But there are stunts in this, and just the way the action unfolds and the way things are destroyed and shot and explode are so new. Like, George Miller's in his 70s, and he's making this movie like he is a first-time director that has the whole world in front of him, and it is incredible. And visually, it's just so beautiful. Now, it's in 3D and 2D. George Miller says, see it in 2D. I actually had to see it in 3D because the camera projector broke and we got stuck with 3D. It's not, whatever. If that's your preference to see 3D, then see 3D. But, I'm a 2D person myself, so I would recommend 2D. And the director recommends 2D.
Okay, all right. Good to have the options. Now, you discussed the story and where it sort of falls within the franchise. Do you need to be very familiar with the Mad Max franchise to enjoy it, to appreciate it, or should you be?
Well, there's just one thing you should know. In the original Mad Max film, the whole impetus to the story is that this biker gang kills Mad Max's family, his wife and his son. Now, there are very quick snippets of flashbacks that, kind of as if he's hallucinating throughout this movie. And you see quick shots of his family being killed, and you're not quite sure what they are. They don't explain what that is, but if you saw the original Mad Max, that's what they're alluding to, but they don't go into any kind of backstory. That's the only thing you really need to know about the original Mad Max to see this. Otherwise, it is just okay, we are running from point A to point B, and everything in between explodes.
Right, okay, so just keep a close eye on the screen. You'll enjoy it. And so then do you recommend it for all?
I do recommend it. This is a crazy movie. I absolutely loved it, and I was, anticipating this. I was, had some reservations because reboots are always a little iffy, but George Miller, he really knew what he was doing, and he totally blew action movies from the past 10 years out of the water with this one movie. Incredible film.
Good summer box office film, then, it sounds like. Perfect timing?
It's going to kill. It's going to kill.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on the numbers. And, Justin, thank you so much. We'll also keep an eye on your full review on fox411.com. Comment and tweet us at fox411. Let us know your thoughts on this and all of this week's new movies. As always, thanks so much for joining us.